I don't want to be around somebody who's an anti-masker. I'm not sticking around if she's going to stay without a mask.
You stay for this long.
No, I'm not sticking around with her without a mask on. Tell her to put on a mask and fucking stay. Tell her to put on a mask and I'll stay.
But I would not necessarily want an apology. I would just like them to be educated so somebody else doesn't have to go through what I went through. It could be, something that could turn into something very violent, and, who knows what could happen. And the store can stop that right away. Even if the security and everybody knows all the laws, that doesn't have to happen to anybody else.
You're stupid.
No one under the age of 19.
You're stupid. You're just ignorant people.
Do your research.
You might be a Karen.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. And folks, before I get to our story today, if you can, please go to journalistdefensefund.com. And if you're able to, make a donation. Sometimes we need bodyguards. Sometimes we need to pay lawyers so that we can continue to bring you the other side of the story. And right now I am with Linda Brownlee, and she has an incredible tale of, shopping at this Dollarama behind me recently, in which she had to endure a couple of wild Karens and a security guard that ushered her off the premises. And why is that? Well, just will you hear Linda's story. Now, Linda, we spoke off camera about what happened to you, and you have some footage that you recorded yourself. You went to this Dollarama here on Eglinton Avenue East in Scarborough. I believe it was last Wednesday. It was simply to do a little shopping, and then what happened?
Well, I went into the store. I went down to the first lane, and then I grabbed a few stuff from there, and then I went around to the second lane. And I was 3/4 up in the lane. All of a sudden I hear this screaming, "She doesn't have her mask, where's your mask?" And then you can see by my video of 30 minutes of this going on, her saying very, very terrible things, acting in a violent manner, which she scared me that she could get violent and bodily hurt me. Not only that, the whole store heard it, and she had a little child that she was swearing like even my grandfather would be impressed by that.
Not wear a mask indoors.
Quit policing other people. Quit policing other people. Get out of her face then. Then go.
Go.
I gotta go this way. I gotta go this way.
Move your stupid ass and go.
Can someone call the police, please?
Oh, because someone said ass. Why not?
No, for harassment and for people policing other people.
You can't actually roll the police on somebody.
Yes, you can. It's part of a bylaw.
Actually,
And Linda, when you talk about this woman swearing at you, is this someone you've had an encounter with before, or was this just some other shopper that took umbrage to the fact that you were not wearing a mask in Dollarama?
No, I've never seen her before. I've never had any contact with her before, just there she was. And I come here all the time. The manager's seen me a few times. I told him I've had a medical exemption, and there hasn't been a problem until she started the problem.
your consequences, yeah, that's actually bullshit. Because they don't
I've
exist.
got a medical
You're actually
problem.
disabled people, unlike
So am
me.
I.
No, you're not.
Please call the
Move.
police.
Move.
Please call the police.
Go. Go
Go
on.
your way.
Go.
Follow the
Move
arrows.
away from us then.
Follow the arrows.
Move away from us then. We did follow the arrows. You
Follow
Move.
the arrows.
She's a little, upset for sure. You're pretty calm and collected. You're politely telling her, "Listen, you're in front of me. Please do your business." You certainly weren't. It didn't look like you were cruising for a bruising, but she brought it upon herself to, I guess, police you. But as we said earlier, you have indeed, Linda, a medical exemption. And I believe you told me before that it is serious if you block off your breathing. You once actually fainted because you were wearing a mask. Is that correct?
Yes, I fainted with a mask, and I fainted without a mask off of a TTC bus right onto the sidewalk. A couple of years ago when we didn't have to wear, it was really hot, and I just go down. Yeah, so with a mask, I can't breathe. Like, I have a hard time like, without a mask, but with a mask, it's just absolutely impossible for me.
But it looks like, I guess, the management and the security guard on duty that day, they didn't really see it that way, did they? They said, or they insinuated that maybe you were causing a disturbance because you triggered this woman to yell at you?
Yeah, they wanted me out of the store because the no mask thing. And the security guard was also saying that, it's part of the bylaw, you have to go out. And I was trying to tell everybody in the store, the manager, the security guard, that there's a other part of the bylaw that is not posted on the door, the actual 541 Toronto bylaw. They didn't have that, just the mask, and that's it. No exemption, no nothing. That's called a canback.
Can you get this ignorant bitch away from me?
She started fleecing me.
Leave me alone. I've got it all on camera.
She started it all.
What's your language? She started
No,
it all.
she's a woman against distancing. She's not wearing a mask because she's ignorant.
I've got a medical exemption.
No, she doesn't. She pulled out a phony
You
card.
guys need to be relieved
She's
if you don't
laws
have
against
a mask.
distancing.
No.
I've got a medical exemption. So when I finally did get escorted out of the store, I was trying to explain to the security guard about the bylaw, and then I walked over to one of these stores and they had it in the window. So I asked him to come over and look at it, and he said, no, the cops have been called, I have to stay here. So he wasn't even interested in looking at what the bylaw said. Excuse me, security, come here. The bylaw is on their door over there, the real bylaw. Why don't you come over and have a read of it?
I'm staying here because this is the place that I told the police to leave.
Well, it's just right there.
I know, I can't leave.
And it seems to me, from what you're saying, you know more about the bylaw than perhaps the staff here. Before our interview, I did phone someone here, one of the persons you dealt with on that Wednesday, and he said to me he wasn't sure what the rules are. And I would argue, well, if you're in business serving the public, especially the likes of Dollarama, which never shut down during the pandemic. I mean, they've always had their doors open. Maybe you should know. Evidently, he's not the general manager. I'm waiting a call back from him. We've also reached out to Dollarama Corporate in Montreal, the public affairs office. Haven't heard back yet, but hopefully they'll give us a response. But I guess, where do you go now, Linda, from here? Are you seeking an apology? Are you hoping to get, I guess, some clarification that the next time you go shopping here, should you choose to do that, that you are not going to be given the bum's rush out of the store if you're not wearing a mask?
Well, I would like to continue coming to the store as I always have, like it's closer to my home. But if that's the case, I'll just have to go to another dollar store, try it there.
I don't want to be around somebody who's an anti-masker. I'm not sticking around if she's going to stay without a mask.
You stay for this long.
No, I'm not sticking around with her without a mask on. Tell her to put on a mask and fucking stay. Tell her to put on a mask and I'll stay. I'm not.
No, otherwise.
Not necessarily want an apology. I would just like them to be educated so somebody else doesn't have to go through what I went through. It could be, something that could turn into something very violent, and, who knows what could happen. And the store can stop that right away. Even if the security and everybody knows all the laws, that doesn't have to happen to anybody else.
And, what do you make of the change in some people's behavior, Linda, since the pandemic took root? I mean, we know that if you're relatively young, relatively healthy, you stand a 6 times higher chance of getting killed by crossing Eglinton Avenue on the other side of this Dollarama than you do of getting the Wuhan virus. And yet this woman, by her reaction to you, she was kind of treating you as though you were Typhoid Mary.
Yeah. The way she looked at me, but I see it's fear. It's fear in their eyes, and they don't understand. When the media keeps going on and on and on about cases and cases, they're not saying deaths, they're saying cases. And it's a 99.8% chance of, it's a survival rate. So scaring people with cases and not deaths every night that they're hearing is putting fear into people. And yeah, maybe she's, a little bit not very educated, but she's got a child. And, I just see the fear in people, and they're scared, and I understand that, and that's why I didn't overreact or, get really upset with her, because I understand it is a fear. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone and walk ahead.
Move.
Please leave me alone and walk ahead.
You've been told
Go.
to move. Move your stupid ass.
Go.
Mom's against distancing, so she's a crazy kook.
Are you
No
Karen?
children have died of COVID in Canada.
You're stupid.
No one under the age of
Karen?
19.
You're stupid. You're just ignorant people.
Do your research.
You might be a Karen.
I'll see what Dollarama corporate has to say, and perhaps reach out to bylaw. And I guess one last question. It seems that if there was a disturbance being caused that day, it was by the people yelling at you. Did you point that out to the security guard? And
That out, and I said, I really want the real cops here, because he left the store while she was still screaming at me, and with a violent tendency like that, I don't, why would he leave the store? And I asked him, can you please stay? I need you here because I don't know what she's going to do. But he left anyway and said he'll be waiting for the cops outside the store.
and they never came.
He never came, and he went off duty at 5 o'clock, and he was gone.
Well, good luck if you hear back from the powers that be at Dollarama. Please let us know, and hopefully if you go shopping maskless elsewhere, you don't have to endure public shaming and getting escorted out the store by a security guard.
Thank you very much, and I don't want an apology. I just want everyone to be educated and be able to continue life instead of being an inhuman.
Now, I did reach out to the corporate head office of Dollarama in Montreal, and I received a response from Leela Radmanovich. She's with the Media Relations Department of Dollarama, and this is what she had to say. In answer to your questions, Dollarama employees have been instructed to ask that customers comply with these orders upon entering our stores unless customers are exempted from the requirement to wear a mask for legitimate health reasons. In line with the provisions of the Toronto masking bylaw, our policy does not require customers to provide proof that they indeed qualify for the exemption. We are sorry to hear about this customer's experience. We will inform our field management team so that they can follow up with the store to ensure COVID-19 policies as well as our customer service standards are being applied appropriately. Hey folks, you know that Rebel News loves to bring you the other side of the story, but sometimes we rack up a few bills. Sometimes it's bodyguard fees, other times it's lawyers' bills. Still, we believe in bringing you that other side of the story, so if you can go to journalistdefensefund.com, that's journalistdefensefund.com. If you're able to, kick in a few bucks so we can indeed continue to bring you that other side of the story.